Hey guys, in this video you'll learn how to use return channels in Ableton. Everything I'll be showing you in this video are tips and tricks that I currently use in my own mixes. So I've set up a link below in the descriptions where you'll have access to my template of my return channels. You can use them in your mixes if you like. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. In this video you'll learn why it's so important to have return channels and how to set them up. The most important thing about return channels is that you can send a bunch of sounds to a single effect. Return channels are important to put different sounds in the same room. You can get creative with the type of room you want to build in your mix, and you have the flexibility to do so. Now I have set up a track here. It's the same track when I made that video about leveling your mix. So you could have access, if you haven't seen that video, you can have access to it in the link above. Now here we go. So we have two return channels that I've set up. One of them is for the main reverb, one of them is for the delay. You could have as many as you want and we'll talk more about that, but I always like to start off with these two simple ones and creating my mix around them, and then I'll add them if necessary. Looking at the reverb chain, I've put in a cathedral. Sometimes I put in Abbey Roads or Valhalla, whichever reverb I feel like using. Make sure to have it 100% wet because you're only going to send a specific percentage of your sound through this return channel. I have an EQ set up. Usually I roll off the low end up to like 100 depending on the sounds that are going through it. We don't want the low end reverb because this creates a lot of mud. We want the low end to stay solid with the bass and the kick, and for the reverbs to kind of always focus and center around the mid-range. Sometimes it's good to remove some high end as well if you want the reverb to feel like it's really coming from far. As for the compressor, this is for the sidechain. It's good to sidechain your reverb so it kind of flows with the kick and the rhythm of the music. So I've attached it, I've sent it to the ghost channel, which is right here, and it's turned off. Same for the delay. I'm using a ping pong delay in this case. The ping pong delay is set at 3, which is the rhythm that I like. You could set up to whatever you like, and you can use any type of delay that you want. Make sure the width's at 100%. Same concept where you remove the low end. You could maybe dip in the highs if you like, depending on your mix, and then have a sidechain running through the ghost as mentioned here. Make sure both return channels are pumping pretty well so it doesn't create a lot of mess in your mix. Now, looking at what we have, let's quickly listen to the track here. So it's a progressive groove, housey, a bit dark. So we'll start off with, let's leave the kick as is. Looking at the bass, we'll go in the group, and I've already sent some of the, a bit of the sound through the return channels. This is for return A and this is for return B. And I'm just going to exaggerate the example right now to make you hear what it sounds like when we solo the return channels. I'm going to really send them through there. So I'll solo both reverb and delay. So we see this is exaggerated, but that is the room sound that we're trying to build. It feels like it's in a big, let's say maybe in an abandoned factory or it's in a big chamber. That's the vibe that we're getting. So I usually go about -50, just a bit. I go to taste. You don't really hear much at these levels, but when you start adding a bit on pretty much all the groups that you have, they stack up and it creates a mood in the background. It creates your room, your mix. Let's do the same for, say, the drums. I'll solo them first. We see that there's a bit of signal here in the return channels. Let's do the same with the plucks. So this is not something that's highly obvious, but it's good to have it in the background. It will support your mix. The vibe of your mix will just be much better. So this is pretty much it. Aside from reverb and delay, you could have multiple reverbs, you could have multiple delays, you could have return channels which are specific to some instruments. Let's say you want to glue the vocals with another instrument on the track, you could send both of them heavily through that specific return channel. You could also have saturators. You could have, it's basically endless. The whole concept is having an effect which is going to represent the room mix, and you're sending whichever instrument you want through it. Make sure that when you're dealing with reverb and delays, and I'll say this in a lot of the videos, that the reverb and delay is not highly obvious. When it starts getting highly obvious, that's when it starts getting a bit cheesy, you're overusing it. Make sure reverb is used to a point where you feel it, not necessarily hear it. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about return channels, it can get a bit more complicated as well. Just write in the comments below and let me know if there's any topics you want me to talk about. And as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's a link in the descriptions below. Make sure to click on it. You'll have a template which will contain my return channels, and could be a basis for you to start off on. So if you have any questions, again, in the comments below, please like this video and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you guys soon.